Yeah, hey everybody, this is Ian, and in this video, we're going to continue looking at some of the real magic and momentum that you can accomplish using content curation in a very smart, strategic, and skillful way. Now, some of the concepts that I'm going to be covering in this video are advanced. They're not, this is really taking curation beyond some of the things that I've shared with you in the past. Now, what I'm going to tell you in conjunction with that statement is there is no better, more elegant and expeditious way to expand your brand and to really quickly grow your digital media platform than using content curation in a very smart and strategic way. So one of the things that we're going to be covering, that I'm covering with my clients, those of you who I've spoken to by phone in the last week certainly know this. But one of the things I really recommend that everybody does is start a newsletter, right? And, lots of people talk about newsletter marketing in the online entrepreneurial spaces, but I'm talking specifically about a curated newsletter. So everything we're going to be discussing in these few videos is in the context of content curation rather than creation. So I want to show you really quickly. There's a couple of different newsletter services that I use and recommend. I just want to show you some of the results that other folks are getting with this style approach. This is Startup Curated, which is just a curated newsletter that runs on the curated platform, curated.co. They have 26,278 subscribers. Last issue went out a couple of days ago, and you can see what they're getting per issue for one promoted link per issue, $349. One sponsored link per issue, $749. Let's look, and this runs on the curated platform. Let's look at Dave Viewer, who runs the iOS Weekly, I think it is. Here it is. Also runs on curated. Last issue went out a couple of days ago, 23rd, 2018, 23rd of November. I can't speak, unfortunately. Look at how much money this guy's charging per issue. One sponsored link per issue, $1,500. 3 jobs per issue, $400 a piece. That's per week, $2,700 a week for a curated newsletter that is dead simple to create and curate, right? I mean, it's curated content. So it's not even something that he's not even writing this content by and large. He writes an introductory little hello, welcome, how is everybody? And then just curates links from around the web. Now, I want to see how many of you think that you're doing right now $2,700 a month, busting your rear ends on these directories that are taking folks like months and months and years to launch, right? And, he's booked, right? So these ain't like fallacious numbers that he's just like throwing out into the ether without getting paid for them. I mean, he's booked. This is the $1,200 link. And if you look below, here's the smaller $400 times 3 per issue. Booked on the 28th. Some of these are still available. So who knows, how many spots are available per issue on those. But again, and we're going to cover all this in more detail in some of these other videos. This is the extent of what this newsletter takes. So the only benefit he has is time, right? So he started this a while ago. So he's got 379 issues under his belt. Hello, happy Thanksgiving, even though I'm not American, and blah, 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 and blah, 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 right? And then beyond that little introduction, all this is, folks, is curated content. A link to GitHub, whatever, however that's pronounced. Here's a link to a Medium post. Here's an example of a sponsored link. I guess that's the $1,200, bookable link. Here's a link to and Shipster, I mean, I don't know what any of these people are or what they do, but they're all obviously involved in this niche, which is iOS development. Martian craft, itty bitty apps. I mean, he's just curating content. If you click on any of these, it goes to external sites, right? This is dead simple to do. And it's actually the definition, in my view, of what an authority site ought to be doing, or what a digital media platform ought to be doing. So again, once you start thinking of yourself more than just a directory, but a digital media brand and a full online digital media platform, these are the sorts of things that you build bold and incorporate into your, or on top of your community by expanding laterally using very inexpensive tools and technology. And this is very inexpensive stuff. Here's another newsletter. I don't want to focus on this exclusively. Here's a review. I've used these guys as well. I've paid for them as well. Also, really inexpensive. And most importantly, as I'm going to show you in this short demonstration, all of this can be automated, right? So you can make incredible gains, like incredible momentum in this magical way very, very, very quickly, right? So you're no longer tethered to this notion of spending, days and weeks fucking around with all these different plugins or having to pick one theme or another. You can just kind of roll out and run, right? So that's the ethos and the approach that I'm trying to convey. Is nothing has to be perfect, right? All you need is momentum. And I'm going to show you really quickly how to get some right now. All right, so here we go. Here's step one. This is, again, today's the 29th of November. This is a dummy email address that I set up to do nothing other than to send me keyword alerts from Google that I'm going to curate for any one of our various communities. So in this case, I have this email address set up for various keywords that are involved or related to mindfulness, meditation. Here's transcendental meditation. Here's mindfulness again. Here's a psychic set of keywords because I have a segment of our audience who is also interested in spirituality as part of that. Let's just pick any one of these alerts that came today. Okay, so here is, let's see. I haven't seen any of these yet, so let's look. These mindfulness techniques can relieve stress. Now again, I don't know what this site is here, and you're going to learn how to kind of eyeball these in a skillful way to see which of these are kind of like nonsense sites and which of these are really major sites, right? So in this case, NBC 10 or ABC, 10, News 10 in Albany, New York, that seems pretty legit. Learn how to focus and keep yourself on track with mindfulness meditation from the Business Times. All right, well, a lot of our audience is entrepreneurial as well, right? So I'm focused on that community. So this is a good match. I don't know if the site itself is, and this looks like it could be a little bit of a sort of a hinky site, but we're going to take this article anyway. All right. This actually, because it's an HTML file, might not work ideally for my curation software. Let's look. All right, so all we're going to do, let's see if I can find in this mess of navigational. No, that's not it. Let's see, where is our, let's go to mindfulmarketplace.com. This is all just curated links at this point for our online learning management community. So let's go to add a new link. Let's paste that link. I don't know if this link is going to work actually because it's an HTML file. It might not have the right structure. It looks like it may. All right, as you can see, it's pulled the picture, it's pulled the headline, and it's pulled a short excerpt of the content from that article, right? Which is this, Learn How to Meditate. It's got that picture, that title, and a little bit of the content, right? So I would change this title just to have some uniqueness. I've covered this before. struggling to focus on your business, mindfulness meditation techniques for entrepreneurs. And again, I changed the title just because I don't want to use the same title. I'm going to actually, here's a little trick, and I'm using I'm using how come I can't speak? I'm using the file menu to copy and paste so you can see this rather than using keyboard shortcuts or keyboard shortcuts. All right, so I'm actually going to add that as a tag, which is just a little SEO trick. I'm not an SEO expert, but I found this very helpful. Mindfulness for business. All right, and then essentially I'm going to categorize it enlightened entrepreneur. A big part of my pitch, or our pitch, because this is not just my business, is for enlightened entrepreneurs in quotes. So I'm trying to keep the branding for that good. I could add some more parenthetical thoughts here, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to post this. All right, so now we're going to publish that. And if I wasn't jibber jabbering and doing this demonstration and talking to you, this would be much more, this would be much faster. All right, you can see that article has already been shared. Here it is, struggling to focus on your business, mindfulness techniques for entrepreneurs. All right, so here is what, let's go back, because this is, I'm going to show you something that is really key to understanding. This is how you're about to expand your brand. All right, so this is something I've demonstrated many times before, right? Those of you I'm working with personally have seen this, and those of you who are following me on YouTube have seen this, and those of you who are taking some of my courses have seen this. Here's what you haven't seen, right? So let's go back to that newsletter example, right? So you have a newsletter like this, and you're wondering, all right, the guy's got 379 issues. He's charging $2,700 a week in aggregate for advertising, but it must take him forever to generate all this content, right? All these curated links. Well, not really. And I'm going to show you how quickly this happens. So step one, by dint of a bookmarklet, right, which is right here, I'm going to save this article to my newsletter. Okay, this is my curated.co newsletter, much like his, right? This is the link, this is the title, this is the category, we'll call it news, curated by Ian Ross, which is me, and I'll write a little bit of mindfulness for busy executives. I just wrote a bunch of gibberish that I'll probably edit later because I certainly don't want to say, read more about why the explosion of mindfulness has impacted the entrepreneurial realm in some amazing ways, because that's not the kind of language I would typically choose to use. But nonetheless, I'm going to save that. So that's done. So now I've saved this article to our newsletter. I am now also going to save it to Pinterest. All right, so I'm going to choose that pin. I'm going to save it here. And I'm going to, didn't want to do that. Sorry for the language. But nonetheless, you can see I now have a new pin also saved that links back to our post, right? Now I'm going to post this same thing to Tumblr. All right, again, using a bookmarklet, very, very simple. Of course, this isn't going to play nicely because it's being recorded. All right, let's skip that for a moment. That doesn't seem to be working. It typically does. We're going to copy this link. We're going to go to our Facebook page, which is here, all right? And we're going to curate the same link. Again, I'm using the file menu rather than the keyboard shortcuts. And there you go. Same article. Boom. All right, so now it's been curated to Facebook. So that the navigational arrow works from Gmail alerts, right? So I'm getting alerts. This is my inbox, as you can see. Let's go back so you can see this. Inbox, post this to the blog, share this to my newsletter via the little piece of JavaScript, which is attached to my browser bar. I mean, any newsletter that I recommend you use for curation has one of these, that works really, really well. Post to Tumblr is the second. Post to Pinterest, again, little piece of JavaScript, or in this case, a Chrome extension. Post to Facebook, and you've got 4 different ways to expand your platform on one simple Google alert, right?